Welcome to the Prescott Lab podcast, not just theory, practical science for everyone. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, a physician and integrative medicine researcher at the Ravensshade Institute for Human Health. Gentlemen, let me paint a picture. Imagine lying beside the woman who has shared your life, the lights dim, her hand resting gently on yours. The moment arrives, but your body hesitates. The silence is heavier than words. In that instant, a man feels not just physical failure, but the weight of doubt pressing into his chest. It is a quiet ache, one I've seen in the eyes of countless men over 60, and it whispers a cruel lie: maybe my best years are gone. But here's the truth I want you to hold on to: your body is not broken and your story is not finished. More than 70% of men your age face erectile struggles, yet most never speak of it. They bury the shame. They pretend it doesn't matter. But silence steals hope, and hope is the very fuel that keeps a man alive. That is why we're here today, because nature has always held answers far deeper than a quick pill from the pharmacy. In this episode, I will share with you 9 remarkable oils, remedies men have leaned on for thousands of years to restore blood flow, to rekindle desire, to bring back sensitivity, and to give you back the vitality you thought had slipped away. One of them is so powerful that many men tell me they felt like they had a brand new body in just a single week. Before we begin, let me ask you for a simple favor. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like this video. When you do, you're not just supporting me, you're fueling this community. You're giving us the drive to bring you more of these conversations, more answers, more hope. Every like tells us, keep going, doctor. This matters, and trust me, your support matters more than you know. So settle in, stay with me until the end, because today we're not talking about covering up the problem. We're talking about real solutions, natural, powerful, and proven. And it all begins with something humble, something you've probably walked past 100 times in the grocery store without realizing it carries the spark your body desperately needs. Let's start with the first oil. Pumpkin seed oil, the testosterone spark plug. Gentlemen, let us begin with something deceptively simple: pumpkin seed oil. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than a dark, earthy liquid pressed from a common seed. But inside those drops lies a medicine chest nature has been offering men for centuries. I call it liquid gold for the aging male body. Why? Because pumpkin seed oil is one of the richest natural sources of zinc. And zinc is the spark plug of testosterone production. Without zinc, the male engine simply sputters. No fuel, no fire. The Journal of Nutrition published a study showing that men with low zinc intake experienced a dramatic drop in testosterone within just 5 months. Yet when zinc was restored, testosterone levels rose again, proof that sometimes vitality isn't lost, it's just starved of raw materials. I remember one of my patients, Robert, 64 years old. He came to me tired, distant from his wife, weighed down by the shame of fading intimacy. His blood work told the story: zinc deficiency, low testosterone, and weak circulation. We added pumpkin seed oil into his daily diet, 1 tablespoon stirred into his morning oatmeal. Within weeks he returned, his voice lighter, his eyes brighter. He said, "Doctor, I didn't think it was possible, but I wake up feeling like a younger man." My wife noticed before I even said a word. That is the quiet power of this oil. But zinc is not the only gift hidden here. Pumpkin seed oil contains compounds called phytosterols, which help relax and widen blood vessels. Erections at their core are about circulation, blood flowing freely into the chambers of the penis. If the vessels are stiff, narrow, or inflamed, the body fails you at the very moment you long for it to rise. But when the vessels are supple, open, and ready, everything changes. A study in the International Journal of Impotence Research confirmed this. Men who consumed pumpkin seed oil showed improvements in penile blood flow and erectile quality. And here is what I find most humbling: these changes do not happen like lightning. They happen gently, steadily, the way dawn replaces the darkness. Many men describe a quiet return of firmness in the morning, a steady pulse of energy through the day, a subtle but undeniable reminder that their body still remembers how to respond. Pumpkin seed oil teaches us something profound: your body is not broken, it is waiting. Waiting for you to give it what it has needed all along. When you do, nature responds. And as remarkable as that is, there is another gift of nature whose reputation stretches back through ancient medicine, a remedy so trusted across centuries that it was once described as a cure for everything except death. When it comes to restoring male vitality, its impact can feel nothing short of legendary. Pomegranate seed oil, the hormone restorer. There is something almost poetic about the pomegranate. For centuries, men and women alike called it the fruit of life, a symbol of fertility and endurance. When I hold a pomegranate in my hands, I see more than a fruit. I see a reminder that life, even in its later seasons, can still be full, vibrant, and overflowing with promise. And when we press its seeds into oil, that promise becomes medicine for the aging male body. The key lies in a rare fatty acid called punicic acid, found almost nowhere else in nature. Along with it comes a surge of antioxidants so potent that the Journal of Urology has documented their ability to repair and protect the delicate lining of blood vessels, the very highways that carry blood into the erectile tissue. I often tell my patients, your arteries are like garden hoses. When young, they are flexible and strong. With age, they stiffen, crack, and leak. Pomegranate seed oil acts like a repair kit, smoothing and strengthening those inner walls so blood can move freely again. But its gift does not end with circulation. Gentlemen, what truly makes this oil remarkable is its effect on testosterone. As we age, testosterone slips away year by year, leaving behind fatigue, low drive, and weaker erections. But research published in Clinical Nutrition shows that pomegranate supplementation can significantly increase serum testosterone levels and even improve mood and vitality. This is not about forcing hormones into your system. It is about reminding your body how to do what it was designed to do. I think of James, 71 years old, a retired carpenter who once told me he felt half alive. His energy was fading, his marriage had grown cold, and he had quietly convinced himself that passion was for younger men. We introduced pomegranate seed oil into his daily life, just a teaspoon in his morning yogurt. Weeks later, he returned transformed. His eyes carried a spark, his step was quicker, and with a quiet pride he told me, "Doctor, my wife and I are laughing together again. She says I seem 20 years younger." That, gentlemen, is the gift of pomegranate seed oil. It does not just restore performance, it restores the man inside the man. It reminds him that intimacy is not gone, it is waiting to be renewed. And yet, while the pomegranate nourishes the body's strength, there is another oil that speaks directly to desire itself. A natural remedy so revered that ancient healers once called it nature's own answer to lost manhood. Black seed oil, nature's Viagra without the side effects. Across deserts and ancient markets, black seed oil was whispered about as a cure for everything but death. It sounds like folklore, but time and science have both shown us there is truth hidden inside that legend. When pressed into oil, these tiny black seeds hold a compound called thymoquinone, a molecule with the power to awaken a man's circulation at its very core. Here's why this matters. Erections depend on nitric oxide, a natural signal that tells blood vessels to open wide and welcome the flow of life. Without nitric oxide, desire may rise, but the body cannot answer. Black seed oil steps in as a natural amplifier, boosting nitric oxide and restoring that signal. Modern research published in Phytotherapy Research confirms its effect, showing improved vascular function and reduced oxidative stress in men who took black seed oil regularly. I remember Harold, 66 years old, sitting in my clinic with shoulders heavy from years of disappointment. He had tried the little blue pill, it gave him headaches and racing heartbeat, but no lasting relief. His hope was running on fumes. I asked him to try black seed oil not as a quick fix, but as a steady ally. 2 weeks later, he walked back in with a half smile he couldn't hide. "Doctor," he said, "I woke up this morning and I didn't just feel alive, I felt like myself again." For man, that moment is not just physical, it is dignity restored. And black seed oil carries another hidden blessing. It soothes inflammation, that silent thief eroding blood vessels with every passing year. Chronic inflammation narrows the very pathways erections depend on. But this oil acts like a gentle river washing debris from the banks, leaving the channels clear. The result is not only firmer erections, but calmer blood pressure, steadier energy, and a body less burdened by the years. What I love most about this oil is its partnership with the body. It doesn't force, it doesn't trick, it simply reminds your system how to open, how to flow, how to respond. And yet, as powerful as that sounds, there is another gift waiting. One that not only clears the blood vessels, but also stirs the body's own engine of masculinity, encouraging hormones to rise again and fueling vitality from the inside out. Evening Primrose Oil, restoring sensitivity. Most men, when they hear the words evening primrose oil, think of women's health. They picture bottles in the supplement aisle labeled for hormone balance or skin glow. And yes, that is true, but it is not the whole truth, because this humble oil pressed from delicate yellow blossoms that open at dusk carries a gift that men, especially those over 60, often forget they need: the gift of feeling. Intimacy is not just performance. It is sensation. It is touch, warmth, and connection. Yet as years pass, many men quietly admit that the fire has dimmed, not because desire is gone, but because sensitivity has faded. What was once vibrant becomes muted, like hearing music through a wall. That is where evening primrose oil steps in. Its strength lies in gamma-linolenic acid, GLA, an essential fatty acid the body cannot produce on its own. GLA feeds the very nerves that line the penis, the same nerves that carry every signal of arousal, pleasure, and release. Research published in the Journal of Neurochemistry shows that GLA improves nerve conduction and reduces neuropathy, meaning it helps damaged nerves fire again. For man, that translates to sharper sensations, stronger signals, and deeper connection during intimacy. I think of Dennis, 68 years old, who came to me with a heavy confession. "Doctor, I can still perform, but I don't feel it anymore. It's like the music is playing, but I can't hear the notes." We added evening primrose oil to his regimen, just a soft gel capsule each night. 6 weeks later, he returned with a different tone in his voice. He said, "It's as if the volume came back on. I feel present again, and so does she." His eyes carried the unmistakable relief of a man who had rediscovered not just function, but joy. Evening primrose also has a subtler gift. It helps regulate prostaglandins, the hormone-like messengers that influence arousal and erection quality. Too much imbalance and the body responds weakly. Restore balance and the body tunes itself like an instrument returning to pitch. Clinical studies confirm that prostaglandin balance improves vascular relaxation. In plain words, it helps blood flow where it needs to go, when it needs to go. This is why I often call evening primrose the oil of reconnection. It bridges the gap between body and mind, between touch and response, between two partners who may have grown used to silence in a place where once there was song. And as beautiful as that reconnection is, there is yet another path waiting, not through the nerves of the body, but through the mind itself. Because even when the body is capable, the mind can still sabotage intimacy, unless we learn how to sharpen it, calm it, and bring it fully into the moment. Rosemary oil, sharpening mind and performance. So many men believe intimacy begins and ends with the body. Yet time and again, I've seen the truth unfold before me. It begins in the mind. A distracted mind, heavy with worry or clouded with doubt, can undo even the strongest body. How often have I heard men whisper, "Doctor, I could, but I couldn't stay present. My thoughts betrayed me." This is where rosemary steps in, an herb you've likely brushed past in the kitchen. Its fragrance sharp and evergreen. Press it into oil and it becomes more than seasoning. It becomes a tonic for focus, clarity, and presence. Modern science affirms what ancient cultures always sensed. A study in therapeutic advances in psychopharmacology showed that compounds in rosemary, particularly carnosic acid, improve blood flow to the brain, enhancing memory, alertness, and calm focus. Michael, 62 years old, described it best. He told me, "It's like I was standing in the bedroom, but my head was somewhere else, at work, on bills, on worries that had nothing to do with her." We tried something simple, a drop of rosemary oil massaged into his temples each morning and sometimes diffused in his bedroom at night. Weeks later, he came back with a smile his wife had noticed before he did. "Doctor," he said, "I didn't just return to her, I returned to myself. I was finally there in the moment, not lost in my head." Gentlemen, that is what presence does. Erections are not just hydraulics, they are attention, focus, and connection. Rosemary supports not just the body's vessels, but the mind's clarity. And as an added gift, it helps regulate dihydrotestosterone, DHT, a derivative of testosterone. Too much DHT can dull sensitivity and blunt performance. By balancing it, rosemary allows testosterone to do its proper work, fueling masculinity without sabotaging pleasure. I tell men often, when the mind is scattered, intimacy feels like duty. But when the mind is sharpened, intimacy becomes discovery again. Rosemary, with its grounding scent and quiet strength, reminds us that the brain and body are partners in passion. And yet, as much as the mind matters, there is another force that can quietly choke a man's vitality more than any distraction: stress. A silent thief, creeping into the bloodstream, raising cortisol, lowering testosterone, and stealing peace. To restore intimacy fully, we must learn to break that cycle. Frankincense oil, the stress breaker. For thousands of years, frankincense has been burned in temples and carried through rituals meant to purify the body and quiet the soul. The smoke curled upward like a prayer, and men believed it could wash away burdens they couldn't put into words. Today, science has caught up with that ancient wisdom, showing us that this sacred resin does more than perfume the air. It heals. Stress, gentlemen, is not just a feeling. It is chemistry. Each time you worry, each time you lie awake restless at 2 a.m., your body floods with cortisol. And cortisol is the enemy of testosterone. It constricts blood vessels, inflames tissues, and over time it eats away at the very strength a man depends on. A study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology revealed that frankincense contains bisoleic acids, compounds that calm inflammation at a cellular level, lowering cortisol and protecting blood vessels from stress-induced damage. Edward, 73 years old, carried that stress like a permanent weight on his shoulders. He told me, "Doctor, even when my body was willing, my mind was too tense. I couldn't let go." We tried something simple, a diffuser by his bedside, frankincense oil filling the room each night before sleep. Weeks later, he returned with something I hadn't seen in his face for years: ease. He said, "I sleep deeper now, I wake up calmer, and to my surprise, I've begun waking with natural firmness again." His story is not rare. It is what happens when stress loosens its grip and the body finally remembers how to respond. Frankincense reminds us that intimacy is not just about circulation, not just about hormones, but about peace. A man at peace is a man whose body listens again. And when the storms of stress quiet, blood flows, desire stirs, and confidence rises naturally. But calm alone is not enough. To truly restore vitality, a man must also reclaim how his body listens to testosterone, not just the numbers on a chart, but the way his cells respond. And for that, there is an ancient oil with a fragrance as grounding as the earth itself, one that amplifies the power of masculinity from the inside out. Sandalwood oil, amplifying testosterone's power. There is something timeless about sandalwood. Its scent is warm, earthy, almost spiritual, the kind of fragrance that lingers not just in a room but in memory. For centuries, it has been burned in rituals to inspire confidence and presence. But when used as oil, sandalwood carries a gift that goes far deeper than aroma. It has the power to make your body listen to testosterone again. Here's the paradox. Many men chase higher testosterone levels with supplements, injections, or pills. The numbers on their lab reports rise, but their energy, desire, and performance stay flat. Why? Because testosterone is only half the story. The other half is receptor sensitivity. Think of testosterone as a key and your cells as locks. If the locks are rusted, the key cannot open the door. Sandalwood oil acts like polish, restoring those locks so the testosterone you already have can finally do its work. Thomas, 67, had been down that road. He told me, "Doctor, I've tried everything to boost testosterone. My blood tests look great, but I still feel like a shadow of myself." I suggested sandalwood oil, a few drops on his skin, sometimes diffused at night, even used in a warm bath. Weeks later, words stayed with me. "It feels like my body finally woke up to the hormone I already had. Energy, desire, firmness, it all started to match the numbers." That was the moment he realized the solution wasn't more testosterone. It was teaching his body to respond again. Science echoes this truth. Research in andrology has shown that compounds in sandalwood enhance androgen receptor activity, making the body more efficient at using available testosterone. And as an added gift, sandalwood heightens nerve sensitivity, particularly in the genital region. For men who feel intimacy has grown dull, this oil turns the volume back up, restoring vivid sensation where silence had crept in. For many of my patients, sandalwood becomes what I call liquid confidence. Not because it forces anything, but because it allows what was already inside to work at full strength. And when confidence returns, intimacy is no longer strained. It is natural, alive, and deeply satisfying. But even as the body learns to harness testosterone again, there remains another challenge, one that is far more elusive. A man may feel too tense, too wound up, or too anxious to let his body follow through. And sometimes the opposite, too relaxed, too dulled by age to respond at all. What men need then is balance, the perfect harmony between desire and calm. Ylang-Ylang Oil, balancing excitement and calm. Its name sounds like a whisper, Ylang-Ylang. an exotic flower that blooms in the tropics, releasing a fragrance both sweet and intoxicating, often carried on the evening wind. For centuries, it has been woven into garlands for weddings, scattered on bridal beds, believed to stir desire while soothing the heart. And as oil, it holds a balance that many men seek but rarely find, the ability to awaken arousal while calming the very anxiety that too often chases it away. Here's the truth. One of the greatest enemies of male intimacy is not just poor circulation or low testosterone. It is the mind's pendulum swinging too far in either direction. Some men grow tense, their nerves wound so tightly that performance collapses under pressure. Others, dulled by fatigue and stress, cannot muster the spark even when the moment is right. Ylang-Ylang Oil speaks to both, gently guiding the body into harmony. Richard, 70 years old, once told me with tears in his eyes, "Doctor, I love my wife, but every time I reach for her I feel the weight of failure before I even begin." We added Ylang-Ylang Oil into his nightly ritual. Sometimes he diffused it in the bedroom, filling the air with its calming perfume. Other nights, he used it as a light cologne, a quiet reminder of intimacy before it even began. Slowly, he noticed a shift. His body was eager, blood flow returning with warmth, yet his mind was at peace. He described it as being ready without being rushed. His wife noticed too. They began laughing again in moments that had once been clouded with tension. Science has started to catch up with this ancient practice. Studies in the Journal of Herbal Medicine report that Ylang-Ylang Oil lowers blood pressure, reduces stress hormones, and enhances parasympathetic activity, the very system that allows the body to relax into intimacy. At the same time, it gently stimulates circulation and nitric oxide release, fueling arousal. It is a rare dual action, to excite and to soothe, to awaken and to calm. For older men, this balance is not a luxury, it is a lifeline. Because true intimacy is not just readiness of the body, it is the quiet assurance of the mind. Ylang-Ylang restores that equilibrium, allowing desire to rise without fear, connection without panic, closeness without hesitation. And yet, as powerful as balance can be, there remains one final key in this journey. A gift pulled not from exotic blossoms or sacred resins, but from the very needles of a tree you've likely walked past all your life. Simple, unassuming, yet capable of transforming a man's vitality in as little as 7 days. Pine needle oil, the 7-day game changer. Sometimes the most powerful remedies hide in plain sight. Pine trees stand tall and silent, their needles carpeting the forest floor, their scent sharp and clean in the morning air. To most, they are just trees. But to those who know, the needles carry something extraordinary, an oil that can awaken vitality with a speed that startles even the most skeptical. Inside pine needle oil are compounds called alpha-pinene and beta-pinene. These natural molecules act like oxygen accelerators, helping every cell in the body use fuel more efficiently. For man, that means more energy, more stamina, more strength, the difference between running on regular gasoline and suddenly switching to premium. And when it comes to intimacy, that shift can feel like turning back the clock. Alan, 65, a retired engineer, told me once, "Doctor, I thought I was done. I thought intimacy was over." I suggested pine needle oil, asking him to give it just 1 week. He returned with astonishment. His words were simple: "I felt warmth. I felt blood rushing again, and for the first time in years I felt fully alive with my wife." That is not exaggeration, that is circulation restored. And here is why it works so quickly. Pine needle oil is one of nature's most potent vasodilators. It opens blood vessels wide, almost immediately, allowing warm, rich blood to flow into the very tissues that define masculinity. Research published in Planta Medica confirms that pine compounds significantly improve vascular dilation and oxygen uptake. Combined with their ability to reduce prostate inflammation, the result is not just stronger erections, but freer, more youthful energy throughout the body. Men often describe the first effects as a tingling warmth, sensitivity returning, a reminder that their body is not finished but waiting to be stirred awake. Add to this its role in supporting testosterone utilization, and you begin to see why so many call it transformative. Pine needle oil, gentlemen, is not just another supplement. It is a revelation. Proof that nature can still surprise us, still heal us, still hand us back pieces of ourselves we thought were lost. And yet, as powerful as these 9 oils are, the greatest truth is this: they are not about chasing youth, but about reclaiming life. Which brings us to the message I want to leave with you, one final word that ties all of this together and reminds every man listening that his best years are not behind him. Closing message, you're not broken. Gentlemen, you've just heard about 9 oils, each one a thread in the tapestry of male vitality. Together, they remind us of a truth too many men forget. Your best years are not behind you. They are still here waiting to be claimed. I want you to remember this. Erectile struggles are not a verdict. They are not proof that you are broken or less of a man. They are signals, your body's way of asking for support, for balance, for restoration. And when you answer that call with the gifts nature has always offered, circulation restored, hormones balanced, sensitivity returned, you discover that vitality was never gone. It was only hidden, waiting. I've seen it in Robert, in James, in Harold, in so many men whose stories echo your own. Men who thought the door had closed, only to find it opening again with laughter, connection, and intimacy they thought was lost forever. That possibility is not theirs alone. It belongs to you too. So as we close today's conversation, I want to leave you with both a challenge and an invitation. Challenge the belief that age has taken everything, and accept the invitation to live, to love, and to reconnect with the man you still are, strong, capable, and worthy. If this message resonated with you, let me ask one small favor. Click like. Not for me, but as a signal to yourself and to this community that you are choosing to keep hope alive. Every like, every subscription, every comment is what fuels this work. It's what tells me and my team, Doctor, keep going, this matters. And it truly does. Subscribe if you haven't already so you never miss the practical science and heartfelt advice designed for men like you, men who know that growing older doesn't mean giving up. And leave me a comment. Tell me if you've tried any of these oils, or simply type 1 if you want more of this knowledge, 0 if you'd like me to cover a different path. Your words guide these conversations, shaping what we explore together. Gentlemen, you are not broken, you are not finished. With the right support, nature still has the power to restore strength, intimacy, and joy no matter your age. Until next time, this is Dr. Jonathan Prescott, and I look forward to walking this road with you again.